Aerospace Laboratories and IIT Bombay, focused in CFD. And initially I knew that I wanted to work in aerodynamics, so I focused most of my work, even the collegiate clubs and most of other work in the area which I wanted to move in. So since then I got more engaged in it, and I started enjoying it. So after graduating from there, I've been working at the automotive OEM as a CFD engineer, and currently I'm working in battery thermal management. But some new projects have been there, so the development is quite good.
So this is
And especially eVTOLs, which are the air taxis. I've been really fascinated about them, and now I know that I can really contribute. I can give some tangible contribution to that. And going forward, I would like to explore the field of aerodynamics more. And a couple of years down the line, I'm planning to do a PhD after my MS. If all goes well, then I will mostly be focused into the aerospace industry part for the initial years, for around at least till 50-55. Then after that, I think I might go into academia to pursue other fields.
So let me ask you, Shubham, one question. If I have to ask you your short-term goal, like for next 5 years or 3 years, and your long-term goal, which is like, let's say, so 5 years down the line, what you would like to achieve, and 10 years down the line, where you want to see yourself?
So 5 years down the line, I would be completing my PhD. I'm expecting to complete a PhD, and then I'll be joining the industry focused in CFD only.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly that would be focused on the aerodynamics part. Then after that, I would like to grow there at the industry to become department lead and go more into new programs, new innovative programs.
Got it. So let me ask you this question again. Next question is,
yes,
if I have to ask you, let's say you are right now, assume that you have finished your PhD. And so what would be the job profile that you are looking for, and what would be those industries that, like the name, if you can tell me, like these are the companies and this is the position, would be like dream come true?
So initially, after completing the PhD, I would still like to go for a CFD engineer job. So it will be like a senior aerodynamics engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe focused on eVTOLs or electric aircrafts. And the companies would be like Boeing, Airbus, and now also I have been actually following Lilium. That's a Germany-based company for air taxis. So that has been doing very good. I've been following it for last 5 years. So I really like the concept. And so companies like these, and of course Lockheed Martin and some others. So I will be mainly focused on aeronautics, not the space part for now.
Do you know okay, the other question I have, do you know anything that you feel like you would like to settle down, like finish your degree and everything, and you want to settle down abroad, or you think that you would like to come back and work for companies in India, or doesn't matter?
Seeing the scenario in aerospace, especially in India, I don't think there would be a lot of opportunities which I am targeting in India, at least for the next 1 or 2 decades. So that I will have to do it.
Do you have enough information about companies who have offices in India, like aerospace companies and having offices in India?
Yes. Boeing has an R&D office in India, in Bengaluru. And I think I'm not very sure of it, but Airbus also has an office in India.
So why you think that those would not be the right place to work?
Since I'm currently targeting for electric aircraft and eVTOLs, so the Indian aerospace industries, I also talked to my colleagues in the innovation center in my current company. So they have told me that it is impossible to introduce eVTOLs at least for the next 1 or 2 decades in India, especially in the Indian airspace. So it will be very difficult to control it. You can actually see from the current scenario of electric vehicles. So there's been a lot in US currently, but we are slowly adopting it in India. So it will like the electric vehicle industry is still behind 5 or 7 years in India.
One question I want to ask. This is more technical. You are a CFD engineer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how would your research would contribute towards eVTOLs versus the conventional aircraft? What, like, as a CFD engineer, I don't see a link there, whether it's electric or not.
Yes. It's actually it's all overlapping. So
No. What I want to
Yes.
understand is, as a CFD engineer, how would your research would contribute specifically towards electric aircrafts or taxis versus the conventional aircrafts? What is the how would your technical area is going to contribute? That's my point.
Yes. So in general, I would just like to say that first of all, it will be a most of overlap. But I will specifically like to focus on the aeroacoustics part in eVTOLs. So for air taxis, noise is a major concern for their operation in urban areas. So there is currently a lot of research going in aeroacoustics of these rotorcrafts. So that is one of the points which is not very important for the commercial aircraft, because there the perspective is different. Aeroacoustics of their jet aeroacoustics is the prominent cause of noise. So,
but I thought that if it is more electric, you have less movable parts. That means you have less vibrations, less noises.
Yes, it sure has low mechanical noise, but the rotor-air interactions will cause aerodynamic noise. So that is called aeroacoustics. So
is that a really big concern, or this is like, okay, if it's there, that's fine?
It's also fine if it is there, but for public adoption, it is currently being a major function. So I've been attending webinars from the Agility Prime, the new US consortium for this electric aircraft and taxis, and also I've been following others. So there has been a lot of research going on into the aircraft noise.
Yeah. No. And what I'm trying to understand is,
yes.
If I have to say, what are the major problems in aerosol in electric aircrafts versus conventional aircraft? What is stopping the transition? Is the problem which you have told me comes under a bigger problem, or this is like one of the last problems that some people talk about, but that's not the real concern? The concern is somewhere else. That's my point.
Yeah, the shift to electric aircraft is obviously not related to the noise. It is mainly related to the battery technology. So currently we are mostly using lithium-ion batteries, which do have a pretty good battery the energy capacity, but it is still not very good for the electric aircrafts, for the loads that aircrafts take. So that is the main bottleneck, which is keeping the electric aircrafts from emerging.
Right. I mean, the reason I'm asking you all these questions, because you are getting into more technicalities and you are showing your passion towards the development of electric aircrafts. But then you have to also understand what solution you are bringing there, right?
Yes.
And to be honest with you, at this point of time, what you are telling me, and I know this area, probably not as much as you, but I have enough information that I can say that is not the issue with electric aircrafts that is stopping them to say, okay, we cannot make a transition, or this could be one of the problems. I mean, any research you do, the whole idea of doing research is you can say, okay, every problem is a problem. For especially for people who do research, they like to dig into every small details, whether for the management that's a problem or not. So that's totally fine. I don't mind that, but you need to understand I think what I'm trying to understand from you is, I think what you are getting into, I think you are very driven by a cause. To be honest with you, you are not driven by launching electric aircraft, because I am not sure if you can contribute and in saying that if I do this research in particular, and I want to get into the details of the research, to be honest, that can help you in launch that. But I think you are more driven by the cause of launch of electric vehicles in general, or the cause could be you want to see a greener world or whatever, to be honest. So the cause is different. The cause is not to launch the electric aircraft, because the reason I'm saying it is, my question again goes back to the same point. How would you contribute? And from the CFD point of view, because you said this is my area, this is your skill set is CFD, and you're saying I'm going to apply the CFD to launch electric aircrafts, and they don't make, there is no connection. The connection is very minute, minuscule. I mean,
Yes,
because you need CFD, you can do CFD. What I'm saying is the CFD is not the. If you say that I am the guy who is the expert of CFD, and that it's like saying Elon Musk, I'm going to launch a SpaceX because I know this skill set, right? It doesn't match, because there are many bigger problems. CFD has nothing to do with it. So how would you help it then? So I think you are more driven by the cause rather than what you're saying. But that's fine. That's totally understandable. Okay, let's get back to your questions now.
yes.
So what happens is, let me tell you one thing. And you are an experienced person. You have worked in an industry, so I don't want to give you a big lecture. But two things that drive technologies, and I want to talk to you specifically in a very straightforward way, because you have worked in an industry. So if there was a fresher from a college, I would not give him that lecture. But it's a reliability and economics that drive anything, nothing else, right? And you have to work around that. To me, electric vehicles and launch of electric aircrafts is more about the economics and the maturity of the technology where we are, right? It's something like to say, if a person has $10 billion in his pocket, he can afford an electric vehicle. Doesn't matter, right? But is that's going to help them to launch that vehicle, because then the volumes are very low. So how would you do that and all that? So what I'm saying is, if you are driven by the cause of electric vehicles, you probably have to find some other cause so that you can launch them, not the CFD. If you talk about, if you talk, yeah. So, but what I'm saying, if you're driven by your research idea or your research on CFD, then think bigger. Just don't stop yourself at saying that aerospace, the electric. No, because that's limiting your resources, and it's also limiting your ability of what you can achieve and what you can do, right? Because then you are targeting a problem. Again, think very carefully. Are you driven by the cause, or are you driven by your skill set? That's very two different things. Because if you're driven by a skill set, no matter what, you can apply your skill set in fuel cells. You can apply your skill set in probably Tesla, or you can apply that skill set in heat exchangers. You can apply that skill set in probably simulating a space vehicle. You can apply that anywhere, to be honest with you. Or to be honest with you, you can apply that skill set in launching a toy gun, right? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. So think carefully what you are interested in, what is driving you. So if I'm driven by the cause of hunger, I will feed people. But if I'm driven by cause of I love making food, then that's a separate story. I can of course I can join both of the causes together, but what is I'm driven by? So number one, think about that. That's number one. Number two, let's going back to your questions now. You have to, again, I won't give this lecture to someone who's a fresher, but I'm going to do this to you. And it's amazing that you have worked in industry, because that gives you a totally different perspective. Because once you start working in the industry, the one thing that's the biggest difference between anyone and a person who has worked in the industry, that in academics nobody thinks, is the cost, right? The one thing that comes
Yes.
in your mind always about this product is not about how fascinating the research is can I afford, can I make it cheaper? Same goes for you. Can I get this education for free? Right? I won't say this to
Yes.
anyone. Again, your dad or your parents or you may have tons of money in your pocket and you want to spend it, that's fine. I won't do it. I never did it. Right? All my education is free of cost. So my point here is, and to be honest with you, there are tons of people that come that go outside, whether in Australia, New Zealand, US, UK, Canada, and pays tons of money to these universities, because at the end of these universities are business too, and they love people their money, and that's what happened. And biggest problem now with the COVID is all these people are losing money because nobody has job. And I've spoken to so many students, they are saying, I want a job. I'm not the person who provides job, right? I can give you advice. And these are the people who are saying that what can we do? I mean, all they are worried about, they're going back home with tons of loan. And they took that risk. And this is unfortunate, this happened. So I am not a big proponent of paying. So
Yes.
if I was you at this point, and what I would do is probably I will do my masters from Europe and come for PhD in US. And if when I'm in Europe, I will explore Europe. I will go out. I will do everything that I could imagine. So I would do that. So enjoy is number one, because that's where you learn. Okay, that's
I would
yeah. Go ahead.
I'd just like to interrupt you. Yes, sorry. Actually, when you initially asked what's my background, so I love traveling.
Yeah,
I have done 2 Himalayan treks, and I have done a lot of treks, and I really want to explore Europe. So that was actually what you are saying is actually what I was thinking of doing.
yeah, absolutely. Go for it. Go for it. No doubt. I mean, this is chance of the lifetime, because you don't get it anytime after that.
Yes.
So I would say, if I was you, see, I have no doubt in my mind that universities in US are one of the best universities, to be honest. And if somebody wants to do education, US is the place even now, no doubt, because of opportunities and because of everything. And I am the living example of that. But one thing I didn't do is I probably have done my masters in Europe too, which I did not. But as I said, I would, Delft is a good university. I would probably, if you are, I think you are they were assuring some scholarship or something you're saying, or you're waiting, right? So if you are able to get it, I will go there, but not for a PhD program.
Not for MSc or PhD. Sorry.
Not for a PhD program. For PhD, probably
Yes.
I will come to US. And to be honest
Okay.
with you, if you do your masters from TU Delft, if you do good research, if you do good work, your chances of getting into a better school will be much higher, for sure.
Yes.
So I would do that.
Yes.
That's number one, for sure. It requires some planning, but that's fine. I will take that. That's number one. Number two, let's say if a professor assures you that even at UIUC, let's say, you can come, we can get into a direct PhD program and all that, and TU Delft is saying, oh, scholarships is not this much, is that much, and all that. So you can make that decision then. That's pretty much easy, because uh, if you get into a direct PhD program at a good school, that's also really great actually, because then you don't waste your time doing masters and all that, keeping your interest and all that. Okay. So as I
I
said,
just wanted to ask that is UIUC, do you consider UIUC among the top aerospace programs? So
um,
how would you?
you know, let me tell you one thing. If you looked at my profile, right, I never cared about
Yes.
where I studied, which department. So, again, don't get fixated into department also. Life is pretty big. Trust me. My undergrad is in mining and I'm working for a space agency now. Doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Yes.
Your interest is more important. Of course, the brand matters, school matters, name matters, and that's what I said. UIC, I said UIUC is a good school. I don't care. after that? Because I'm pretty sure there are hundreds of people that graduate from IITs or MITs or somewhere, but do you think that everyone gets to the top level? No, it depends on individual. Your brand only works for 1 or 2 years after you graduate. After that, it's up to you. Who care? Now nobody cares where I graduate from India. They care where I worked the previous, right? Or what I did. Or basically, actually, no more people care now what I know, actually, to be honest. What is my knowledge right now? So again, don't get fixated on aerospace department or this department or that department, because I have traveled from department to department, from left and right, and to be honest with you, um, um, it's the best thing that I did in my life, to be honest, because that is my strength today more than anything. So when people ask me this question, even when I have job interviews, when I have everything, I basically I have no fear, to be honest, right? Like there are people who have done their whole life doing metallurgy, and for them, anything thinking outside metallurgy is beyond. For me, I can have I and what happens is you will see that uh, I say this thing all the time. You remember that speech from Steve Jobs, connecting the dots from if you so yeah. So for me, connecting dot is very easy because you are one of my dot, right? For you, joining me would be extremely difficult, but for me is very easy. So I can make I can tell you what will work, or not only for me. I have seen a lot of my friends who are in my position or probably are doing better than me or less better than me or whatever. I can see from their failures and from their successes too, right? Where they were, what they did wrong or what they not did wrong and all that. So don't get fixated on that. Make sure your knowledge is important.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just wanted a clarification on that. You are saying that don't get fixated on aerospace. So do you mean that I should also explore the other automotive aerodynamics and industrial means like for oil flow? So I just need to keep my broad level knowledge of means deep level knowledge of CFD intact so that I can enter into any industry later.
As I said, if you get hired by a toy gun to prepare a new toy, as I said again, it's you will understand that all I'm trying to tell you is make sure you have a good knowledge, and the where you are, use that platform as a stepping stone to reach next level. What you're doing right now is a stepping stone. Don't stay there. And what you're telling me again and again, I love this, I'm going to stay here. I'm saying use this as a stepping stone and reach to the next level. You understand? Give it a good thought. Trust me, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you will probably not doing anything to CFD, or probably you will forget what is CFD. I can tell you for sure. But if you get fixated by this idea that I love CFD and I'm going to stay here, you will never move forward and you will be there forever. All I'm trying to tell you is you need to understand that there are unlimited opportunities out there, unlimited. And most important, what happens in your career at one point, you are not driven by what you know, but you are driven by the goal. The goal is, I want to save the world. Not now, but that's what's going to happen. You think Elon Musk 20 years back thought about, I'm going to go to Mars? He was driven by making money, right? But now he's driven by the goal. Money is going to follow you. Money or anything will follow you, but that is, I think, is more important. You will be driven by the goal, and this CFD will have no meaning. All I'm saying, use this as a stepping stone to reach to the next height, right? And that is to me is more important. So as I said, learn, explore as much as you can right now. Yes, of course, get a good hold on on the technical skill set that you are interested in, because that will allow you to go to the next level. And don't get fixated on a department, because in US, to be honest, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's at least in US, I can say for sure, it doesn't matter what degree you have. You can get in. You may get in. You may work into a aerospace, or you can work into a automotive company. Even you are a civil engineer, because that skill set will can drive you. That is more important. Coming back to other question about long term goal and all that. So again, you raised a extremely good point, and I have spoken to. I know about, because I'm in a space industry, and I know a lot of people who are there. Yes, the regulations allows you as an international student not to work in certain industry, no doubt, right? And as I said, there are a lot of. I was speaking to actually a girl who's having the same problem, because she has a degree in aerospace and she's trying to find a job in aerospace. And my advice to her was, diversify yourself. You're not going to find, just because of this problem. Yes, that is extremely true. But that doesn't matter that you can't work on the interest you are in, or what your interest is. So having a degree in material science and engineering